Yo, morning, bright and early. So this is Comics for Blaine coming back at you. Today, I got my buddy Danger Room Comics gonna join us, and we're just gonna talk. Just gonna talk comics, art, and just whatever, whatever happens. Let you know. So, first of all, let's start this out interrogation style. No, like interview, man. I'm curious, man. What is it that has a guy from Germany so into American comics? I mean, I know it has a broad reach, but I'm just always curious about foreigners and their interest in comic books, American comic books.
Yeah, it's a good question. Hard to say. I would say it is, for me, illustration first, because I am a collector of the art form itself, so to speak. So if, let's say, so let's start it this way. I don't have a favorite character or something. So for the very most time, I had just a very few Spider-Man comic books in my collection, and I still to this day have, let's say, 1.5, definitely not 2 short boxes of Amazing Spider-Man comic books in my collection. But my collection is about 10,000 comic books, so it's a fraction of that. Right. And for me, it was the Silver Age artists, especially later on, like Jack Kirby. And I've pretty much completed the Jack Kirby DC books he did. That was very important for me.
Oh, yeah, it's an accomplishment.
Yeah, exactly. And it started, I would say, at the age of maybe 4. My mom brought me to her friend's house, and she had a son. It wasn't in Germany, it was in another country, and I don't know how he got his hands on these German reprints, but it was some Thor Journey into Mystery, drawn by Jack Kirby.
Oh, yeah.
It was a copy without a cover. I couldn't read. I didn't know which book it was. I just knew there was a guy with a helmet, feathers on the helmet, had a cape, had a hammer, and could fly with the use of the hammer. Yeah. And I also remember that if he stomped the hammer on the ground, he was a regular guy, and if the regular guy stomped the cane on the ground, he was the superhero, Thor. Yeah. I couldn't keep them. I saw them once on that day, and I never forgot about it. And only later, maybe at the age of 16 or so, I found out that was Thor, and I found out that was Jack Kirby, Journey into Mystery.
Okay.
And my quest was to complete the Journey into Mystery books with Thor. Mission accomplished on that one, but yeah.
The next. I'm sorry to interrupt, man, but I'm just real curious, like, were comics readily available to you in Germany? I mean,
yeah, sort of. You had in the 70s, you had these good reprints or publications of the US material by Williams, which was pretty good. Before that, you also had a few books, but it was all over the place. Bad translation, bad lettering, no continuity, sometimes in black and white instead of color, bad printing. You had a series which was called Hit Comics. You had let's say a Fantastic Four book, and the next issue if you were into Fantastic Four and you wanted to continue to read Fantastic Four, it was all of a sudden Avengers or Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah,
And
well,
only, let's say, 3 months later, another Fantastic Four book was published, but not necessarily the book after that you were reading.
yeah,
Sometimes a book before that, sometimes they left issues out, and
Yeah.
it was bad, really bad.
Yeah.
And but it was what it was. But those books I haven't read. But there was another company called IHAPA, and they published DC material. Also very good in quality, in printing quality and continuity. They paid attention to that, and it was a Batman book, which was pretty nice. It was called Batman Superman. They put Batman and Superman in one publication, and there was one book, funny story, where you had a cover where was Batman, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, and so on. Everybody was on there except Green Lantern. They hadn't had the rights to publish Green Lantern, so they have this cover where Green Lantern is edited out of the picture, out of the cover, because they didn't have the Green Lantern rights. Later on, they managed to get the Green Lantern rights, but that was how it was going on. But to move forward, how I got into comics hardcore, so to speak, was we had a tour with a school, and that was, I would say, in 10th grade or so. And when you're on the bus, we were driving to the Netherlands. It can be a long ride. You don't have internet, you don't have cell phones, anything, so it can be boring. So we stopped at a gas station. I got out and I thought, comic books. There must be comic books, and there were. And I got Spider-Man, Batman, the crossover #1, drawn by Bagley. Fantastic book, and the Spawn #2, which contained Spawn 3 and 4. And for $10, I was all set. My buddy and I read Spawn, he read Batman, and we switched the books. I read Batman, and he read Spawn, and that was the go. And I had to have everything Spawn. Yeah, I continued to buy these books, and it happened also that in school, a classmate from a parallel class had a mom who worked at a place where the magazines and comic books and newspapers and everything from the direct market, not from the direct market, from the newsstands, which were not sold, they sent it back. And they land somewhere, and maybe they get destroyed or whatever. And she knew a little bit about comic books, that her son was into that, and she took that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was allowed to do or not, but she brought him stacks of comic books, so I could buy comic books for $2 instead of $6. So that was 60% off. And yeah, I've visited him regularly, and I could complete whole runs, almost complete runs of the stuff which was coming out. It was impossible for me to buy every book, but there I could buy it. $20, I go there, 10 books a month, and I had fantastic books for $20. It was pretty nice. Instead of paying 60, that wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, and later on, I found out that the German books were censored, and the translation wasn't that good. It was good, but if you have high standards, it is not that good, quote unquote. And the next thing was the comic shops, which I found out later that we had comic shops here in Germany, Cologne, where I stay, and they had back issues, and the back issues were $2. And if you buy 2 back issues, that's $4 instead of 5 or 6.
Back
So-
issues of the German
Of the American,
or
of the American comics, yeah. So there I got introduced to the American comics, and I wanted them to be uncensored, uncut, where if a head gets chopped off, I want to see it. As a teenager, you want that blood.
Of course. Hey man, as a kid, like if you tell me like, oh, this is not for kids, like, oh my god, I want that book so bad. Now you just rent it for me. I have to have it. You know what I mean? Like nothing's gonna make a kid want it more than you to tell them this isn't for you. You can't.
Yeah, exactly. So
for your age group, you know.
exactly. So it was going in that direction, and I went in on Spawn, Witchblade, The Darkness, Michael Turner, Mark Silvestri. I was highly into that stuff, and
that stuff was it was all the rage at that time back then, man. I mean, especially at that time. I don't know if y'all had available to you Wizard Magazine.
Of course.
Okay. Well, Wizard Magazine was like the biggest YouTube influencer today in the the world of comics couldn't do nothing to persuade people, you know, on which comics to buy in the way that Wizard could, because of the free internet. Wizard was, you know, every collector got their Wizard, and they all, you know, we all read the articles, and we all looked at the little hot 10 lists, and I mean, that's you know, the idea of those lists in Wizard. That's what spawned all this crap on YouTube these days. I think, you know, I mean, because Wizard was just I mean, I don't know. It would be weird if you were a comic fan that did not read Wizard. And man, definitely Wizard influenced me on what I read and what I was, you know, what I was going after and stuff. I mean, I'm a young man. I'm not, you know, made of money. I can't go and buy every book in there that they're saying is hot or whatever.
Yeah.
But I definitely got into Spawn, The Darkness, things like that, because it was presented to me in this magazine, like they were selling it, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. And the Wizard magazine was also one main reason why I got into Silver Age and Bronze Age. Because there you saw the books. Captain America number 100. That was for me a milestone. And when I bought Captain America 100 at a convention for $100, that was the barrier broken for me for 3 figures. I've never spent before 3 figures on one comic book. And I also remember my first comic book where I spent over the retail price, which was $20. It was a wall book on for Medieval Spawn Witchblade, number 1, and I had number 2 and number 3, but number 1 I was missing.
I remember exactly what book it was. The first book that I paid overcover price for was Prophet number 4. The retailer incentive variant by Platt. That book, like the cool thing about it, though, I mean, I just bought it because, you know, it was in Wizard, it's on the hot list, and it just looked heck cool, that cover. Well, you know, the thing is, that is the first ever retailer incentive variant. You know, that's the first. It was a 1 in 10. And that's the first time the retailer ever did that, to where they were, you know, you had to order so many copies of the comic in order to get this, one of this cover. So kind of cool, but unfortunately, I don't have any of the comics from my original collection. The first book that I spent 3 figures on, honestly, I don't know. I've spent 3 figures on sets, complete runs and whatnot, quite a bit. When I was collecting as a younger man. But a single comic, honestly, probably the very first comic I spent 3 figures on was probably Amazing Spider-Man 129.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was heck, I was pushing 4 figures when I bought that almost.
Wow. When was it?
It wasn't that long ago, really. It was like maybe 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. It's whenever this is really, it was the start of me collecting the way I do now. I mean, before then, I bought the books that I read.
Yeah. That Amazing Fantasy 129 was for me the first book for 300. That was the most expensive book I ever bought, and it was pretty much a fortune for me. I think that was in 2005 or 6 or so, around that time. But yeah, never regretted that purchase, and still have the book. It's I would say a solid 9.2.
Right on, man. Right on. You did.
Yeah.
Good bid.
But hey, that was a fair market value for that book back then. That was Guide, and I bought it at Guide. And yeah,
the one I bought was slabbed. I got it on eBay. Paid $720. It was an 8.0. And then after I bought that, it wasn't very long. It must have only been, it was less than a year before they announced the Punisher Netflix series was coming. And then, of course, the book started blowing up. But I was unhappy with that copy. It was real nice, the colors and everything. It didn't have crease or anything. The reason it was an 8.0 was it had a staple that was protruding quite a bit, man. And my eyes were drawn to that stupid thing, and I could not get over it. I could not get over it. So as soon as the show dropped, I sold it and upgraded. And
okay.
I probably only had that comic for, I don't know. It was less than 2 years, and I doubled my money on it. So did all right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good when it goes that way, because back then in 2006 or so, I saw a eBay auction for a 9.8 of the Amazing Spider-Man 129, and that sold for 15,000, and that was an absolute record price, pretty much. It was high up in the skies. Yeah, and after that, people saw what happened, submitted their books. Many more got graded, because back then for Amazing Spider-Man 129 there was maybe 27 or so on the census.
Yeah.
Now there's
it was over 100.
Well over 100. I think 127 or 150 maybe.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, exactly. And the price dropped. The price dropped in half.
Of course.
Over the years. Price dropped, and it recovered slowly, but in the last 2 years, very fast again. But it took pretty much 15 years for the guy who spent 15 grand on it to get his money back, to have a black zero, to even out. not even have some profit. Let's say he sells that book over a auction house to pay at least 10% on fees. You can imagine, and with all the devaluation of the money going on in a few percent, not that much, but you still have to count that in.
Yeah, of course. When you're talking about, a larger amount of money, then of course, yeah, that's always going to be a factor, which is why time is a huge factor. Um, okay, now speaking of that, though, that brings it to the COVID market, man. I mean, prices exploding, the market blowing up since 2019. And, you can refer back to that exact same book, to Amazing Spider-Man 29, 9.8. There was a sale, I think it was late last year, multiple sales, at least two, of over $50,000 for that book, which to me, madness. There's over 100. Like, that's crazy. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, it's not that hard to find, except if let's say somebody with enough money can figure out or have a close idea. Okay, let's say even if it gets to 200 in 9.8, there's a limit somewhere. There's not an infinite number of 9.8s out there, even with the pressing and everything. Which got also a few books in there where, let's say, 9.4s got cracked or 9.6s got pressed and everything, having some magic done on them and resubmitted to get that 9.8. So that waters it down also. But let's say you buy a few books of them, and every time Amazing Spider-Man 139 comes up, you bid. If you win or not win, you are pushing your books you already have also along. Especially that's I would say could be the case on books where there are only a very few known to exist. Let's say in total, let's say 50 on the census. So yeah, if until this point only 50 are on the census, it's not a very common book, especially when it is old and known to be desirable. So sometimes we have, let's say, Bronze Age books have a Detective Comics 430. I know that because I looked it up, and there are not so many books on the census. But of course, it's not a rare book. You can buy it any day on eBay, of course.
Yeah.
But I have that as a Mark Jewelers insert, and that was the first Mark Jewelers insert used on Detective Comics. And unfortunately, CGC doesn't distinguish between the regular and the Mark Jewelers insert. It is all mixed into the same census.
Oh yes. It is noted. It is noted on the tab, but it is separated on the census, which
exactly. They do it on the British price variant. If you have a book with a British price variant, they do that distinguishing, but not on the Mark Jewelers. Yeah. So if you have a Mark Jewelers 9.8, let's say, that's pretty rare. So if guys are into Mark Jewelers and looking for them, they can look for a very long time until something comes up, let's say 9.0 or better. We have to wait sometimes years.
And and it's something very niche that I understand why people, it makes it more exclusive, and I get it. But me personally, like, I don't care to pay an inflated amount for an old ad with jewelry.
Yeah.
It to me personally, I don't care about it. I mean, if you give me two books the exact same book, one with and one without, and let's say the price difference is hardly anything. Okay, I'll take it because I know if in the future I decide to sell it, then now I got this rare version of the book. But
Yeah.
if you're talking about me going after a book that I really want, keep in my collection, and paying inflated amount for the insert, I mean, I don't. It's not for me. It's same thing with like newsstand. I mean,
Yeah.
I just want to have the book.
Yeah.
And to
Yes.
each their own. I mean, I understand that chase. That I get it, but it's just not for me, man. I ain't hating on nobody that it is for.
Yeah, it's the same thing with let's say a book comes out, a recent book, and you have the regular cover or the 1 in 10. So yeah, if you can have the 1 in 10 for also $4, you if the cover is good enough, you maybe go with the 1 in 10. But if the cover sucks, you still get the regular.
I would argue that the difference of the aesthetic of that thing is a huge difference in comparison to a barcode instead of little black and white Spider-Man head. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It is, more or less along the same lines of that niche thing, but I don't know. You're getting something. How do I explain it? Your eyes see that right away. Like, hey, that's something different. A barcode, it's like, okay. I don't even. My eyes aren't drawn to that. Even though, I mean, I understand these sort of things. I understand the market for those sorts of things, but it's just my preference is I don't care.
Yeah, it is. Of course, it is interesting if
Yes.
you have a newsstand book, which is of course harder to keep in high grade. So you see that with Mark Jewelers. If you have a Mark Jewelers, let's say in a 4.0, it hardly distinguishes price-wise from the regular version. And but if you have a Mark Jewelers, which is a potential 9.4 or something, that makes for some people a difference. And,
for sure.
They go for it.
I can completely understand that. I mean, maybe someday I'll jump off the deep end of the Martin Jewelers pool, but I'm not there yet.
Yes, of course. There's always something else you prefer. If you, at one time I collected pretty much everything. I've stopped doing that because I was collecting prints, posters, original art, portfolios, fanzines, comic books, and yeah. Luckily, no toys or anything, but yeah, it's still enough.
Yeah, I imagine it would take up quite a bit of room. I have a room dedicated to it's an office space, right? But it is, my walls are covered in comic books and memorabilia of the sort. And I'm a very organized person, and so like having boxes stacked up in the room is just not an option for me. I do not like that idea. It would drive me crazy. So I try to keep my collection limited. Basically my rule is if it doesn't fit in the closet, and if I want something, my closet's full, I gotta get rid of something. Make room to, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm a bit of a minimalist collector in that way, which is an oxymoron if I've ever heard one. But yeah, man, I've my toes into a couple of those. Like, look, check this out. I got this here in the corner. I have not yet taken care of this. I bought this thing. Well, hold on. I'll tell you the story. Okay.
Wow.
It's the only statue I own, but it's due to the fact that it's modeled after Tim Bradstreet's dog. You know, I bought this thing. I had it for like about 2 years probably, and I still haven't taken it out of the box. So I really need to get to that. I just don't know. I don't know where the heck I'm gonna put it.
Yeah, same with me. I have the Punisher statue from Bone Designs, from Randy Bone.
Okay.
Do you know that?
Yeah. I know the company. I mean, I imagine they've made more than one statue.
Yeah, of course.
Which, I mean, I've probably seen it because when I bought this, I was looking for a Punisher statue, and that one in particular. But I was looking at all of them that were available.
Yeah, it's the one where he's holding the MP5, and you can see through the hole in the gun into his eye.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's fantastic. And then the other hand, I think he has a pistol, and you can put a rifle around his body, and he's looking badass, just standing there, and it is done so perfectly. It's, for me, that's the single best Punisher statue ever made, because it was the first time that it had this feature, and it was executed so well. And even though he is just standing there, he looks dynamic. And Randy Bowen had that skill of doing that just by clay, not with these digital sculpturing where you can edit all the time until everything fits perfectly. Yeah, and oh man, his stuff. You had it in the Wizard magazines and in the comic shop when they got statues and put it on display. You see, it was influenced by John Romita's Spider-Man, the Green Goblin, and everything, by the comic books themselves. And it was the comic book brought to life, quote unquote, in 3D in front of your eyes, and you could put that stuff on your shelf, and they were very affordable. You could pay for a bust. It was that resin bust. I'd say it's $60 or so. But today's statues, they're much bigger. You require way more space. The boxes, enormous. And they cost $1,000 or so.
Yes, and they cost. It's ridiculous to ship them, even because of the weight of the things.
Yeah, but also risky. It can break very easily.
Yes.
Here in Germany, you have a guy who has about 150 statues in his collection, and he has a place rented just for the boxes.
A storage.
Just for the boxes.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. That will be most likely that'll be the only one in my collection, especially seeing that I bought it about 2 years ago and it's still in the box. I don't feel the need to get any more right away. Maybe someday I'll whip up a display in here for it, and maybe I get a Daredevil one or Elektra or something like that. But I don't know. It's not. I'm definitely focusing on the art at the moment, more than their comic books. Like, definitely my dollar bills are going towards art.
Yeah, it's still one of a kind, because through statues, as long as it's not a very limited edition, let's say of 25 or so, 25 pieces, which also exist. It is, yeah,
Ready
one of
for
a kind. If you don't get it, maybe you don't have the chance to get another example or that piece for, let's say, 20 years or so.
I was
Because
I was looking, man. Oh, check it out. Let me show you. I was looking this morning at some Comic Link, some Punisher stuff.
Mhm.
Do share screen. Yeah, okay. Boom. Okay. Hey, I'm learning how to do this. Check it out, man. They have there's a couple of cool pages on here. There's some from Klaus Janson pages from the ongoing series first issue. But I mean, I'm not the ones that really interest me. There's a couple. A Mark Texiera page. Check it out. Pretty wild. I don't much care for this date and signature on the art though, man. Like, why would you deface it like that? What the heck?
yeah, there are some artists who sign into the art itself and not at the border. And one of those is also Mark Silvestri. And oh man, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Leave that thing alone, goddammit.
Yeah.
Sign at the border.
What's the matter
The
with you?
middle. Man.
Aren't you a professional, bro? What's going on?
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's this one. There's speaking of Tim Bradstreet, there's a Tim Bradstreet cover. Okay. Whenever I bought my Tim Bradstreet Punisher cover, I bought it from his representative splash page art, and his it wasn't updated. The page wasn't updated, and there was several of the covers offered on the website that were not available. And this was one of them. I put in the purchase request for this one. Message back, it's unavailable. Okay, well, I put in a purchase request for another one, not available. I must have put in a purchase request for like 3 or 4 different ones before I finally found one that was available. But so this couldn't have sold too long ago. I'm curious. This is the first time I've seen one of his Punisher covers since I've been collecting. This is the first time I've seen it at auction, so I'm very curious on what this would go for. And
yeah,
I mean, I have one already, but I don't know. I mean, if it's not too ridiculous, yeah, I'm probably gonna go for it.
Yeah, it always depends on how good the Punisher is portrayed, the scenery, maybe the book, how important it was, or whatever. But yeah, that one is looking good. Let's say if you have a Punisher cover with him sitting in front of a wall full of guns, that would go for more money, because Tim Bradstreet pays very good attention to detail when it comes to to the guns the Punisher used.
Oh yeah. And,
I
can only imagine if the say the #1 issue of the Max series, which is a cover just as you described, as a cover where he's got walls of guns behind him, a table full of guns in front of him. He's just like sitting there, like, getting ready to load up.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if that one were to hit auction, I'm sure it would get a pretty penny. Now this one,
yeah,
I'm curious. I'm curious. I imagine it's going to go for quite a bit more than what the rep was selling them for, but we'll see. We'll see how much interest there is in Tim Bradstreet Punisher come this auction. What else was there? Well, this is kind of a weird one, but kind of cool. A Zafina one. This is from War of the Realms, the Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
He's on top of a ice giant's head. One that he blew, freaking, you can see the bullet holes.
Yeah. Who did that cover?
That's Gerardo Zafino.
Okay.
I wouldn't want it so much, but it is interesting. You know, I mean, I'm sure whatever it's going to go for, I wouldn't be willing to pay it. Not for that. It just doesn't.
Yeah. I'm a sort of guy if. Let's say Mark Silvestri does or did back in the day often covers without background, which I don't mind that much. But if I can get a cover where the background is drawn, that's way more interesting to me. I have mentioned that I brought that copy of that Steranko I have, and on the back side of that is this here.
Let's let me get rid of this share screen and let's see that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I can't zoom more in, but it is the photocopy of my Tomb Raider alternate cover for the first issue, Tomb Raider 1. And it has Lara Croft standing on a tree and full background in a jungle. That was the first cover on a comic book I had seen where I was thinking, okay, I might get my hands on original art because that would look awesome. Let's see if I can focus a little bit more in it.
Yeah, there you go. You're getting the oh. You're hurting my old man eyes, bro.
Okay. I think that is the best I can do, focus-wise.
Yeah, I can see it, man. You're good.
Yeah.
What is this from? The art?
It is David Finch.
Okay, but from which book is it?
Tomb Raider number 1,
okay.
From the year 2000.
Oh, right on.
So it's pretty old. And a French guy had this in his collection and listed it on eBay. And yeah, I knew exactly I had to make a move because if that thing goes away, it stays away. Because there is a lady out there who is a Tomb Raider maniac, and she has a lot of great Tomb Raider pages. And if she would have gotten this into her hands, bye forever, pretty much.
The only place you'll ever see it again is on social media, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. And but it's still the same for me. This is very special to me, and I wouldn't part with it any soon because it has everything in there I'm looking for in a piece. It has the background. The Lara Croft is drawn from behind, and David Finch at that time wasn't that good with female faces, and he did everything right on this cover. Because you had Mark Silvestri, Joe Benitez, and Michael Turner all in the same Top Cow studio, which were fantastic on women, and David Finch wasn't that good on women. But he used his influence of Frank Frazetta for this one. There is a Frank Frazetta painting. I think it is called Moon Girl, where a girl, black hair, no clothes, is being shown from behind, and she's standing on a tree in a jungle, and in the distance there's the moon. And it's the same idea. You see a woman from behind in the jungle, and here it is. Yeah, it's the same concept, but you see that she got hurt on her foot. She has blood running here on her lower foot. The pistol is shot empty. There's no bullets anymore in the pistol, and you wonder, okay, what did she has to go through to get to this point, and what lies ahead of her, because you see the ruins where she is going to. And yeah, it's flawlessly inked. I think there is no whiteout, or maybe a very few points down here, which if no whiteout would have been used, there was no disturbance in the image of you thinking, hey, why isn't that corrected? So no whiteout. It is perfectly inked in one go by a true professional, Joe Weems. Joe Weems is, for me, one of the best inkers out there.
Right on. Right on. It helps too that he's inking growth and whatnot. I mean, you know, it's not like a straight line. Anything you make a mistake on, you can make it look like growth.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. And everything fits.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I don't know how to describe it more closely, but yeah, it's fantastic.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
So here we have the photocopy of that Steranko image. Okay, let's see if I can.
Where is this from?
This is a pulp draft.
Okay.
So let's put it here.
Like a preliminary then.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Oh, that's nice.
Oops. Yeah, the camera has this thing with a face. It is annoying if it picks up a face. It puts that on top of it. But yeah. Yeah, down here, you see the writing.
There you go. Return to Strag.
Return to the stars.
Okay, Return to the Stars. There you go.
And that was listed on eBay.
Oh, wow.
And yeah.
From a French dealer, you say, huh?
No, this one not, but
That was a thing.
the Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider was a French collector who was in the US and got a ton of material back to France with him. He then started his own publishing company for comic books or so. That went sideways, but to finance all that, he sold his original art collection.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Then
But yeah, he's
I'm sorry to interrupt, man. This was on eBay. It was where was it? It was here in the States.
yeah. It was in the States, and this was my first 4-figure purchase ever.
Oh, wow.
I saw this, and the guy was I don't want to say shady, but he was a little bit strange, because he always signed his emails with "make those millions." It's a weird line to say in every email.
Yeah.
To you, and and I asked him, hey, is this the real thing? Can you write me let's say some kind of certificate or something? You have to understand, I was back then very new to the thing. Original art, maybe had 5 original art pieces in my collection. This was the 6 number 6 in my collection. So I just wanted to get sure, and he said, okay, I can do that, but that thing never came. And after that, I received the original art. I never heard back from him. I wrote him emails, and he never replied. And yeah, but I was still very sure that it might be the real thing, because the handwriting fits the gun here, and the face of the guy is totally Steranko, and the background is the same as on the published pulp. The guy and the girl are different though. The girl has no red hair and is no yellow skin. She's with gray, silver, white hair, and the guy looks pretty much like Steranko himself.
All right.
So yeah, there were some changes, but the background is the right background. So yeah, I was still not 100% sure, but pretty sure that it was the real deal. And one of these photocopies I got to a fellow Steranko collector who was also a comic book writer. He wrote some GI Joe books in the later run, and yeah, he got that. Got to a convention, met Steranko, and said, "Hey, sign this to my guy," and he did. So it is confirmed. It is the real deal.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, of course, it is signed bold here in the upper part, not on the original art,
Yeah,
but on the photocopy. On the photocopy,
the original art. How big is it?
exactly like this.
Okay, so it's what is it like?
It's fairly small because it is the exact size as the published pulp. So when Steranko did this, he did it for the art director of that publishing company. So you have the idea how the size and dimensions of the thing is, and which colors are being used, and so on. And Steranko, this is from 1969, so he got into the pulps after his Marvel gig and had to gain some trust. And as this was one of his very first prelims for anything he did in acrylics, I think, he did it also in color already. And later on, he did it in marker. And soon after that, only in pencil, because he already had proven that he can do it. And pencil drafts were for the art director enough to accept it or to decline. So yeah, this is one of the very few in color, and I have never seen one so elaborate in watercolor like this one. Because all the shadow prelims he did after this in the early 70s are all in black and white and in pencil, and a few in, let's say, 1970s, 71 were done in marker. And yeah, that's the story behind this one.
Right on. There you go. To top off some Steranko September.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody that happens to see this, like, y'all need to check out my homeboy freaking Danger Room's IG. All this last month, he's been running the tag Steranko September, and he shows some sort of piece, or I shouldn't say piece, but some sort of artifact, a collectible of which contains Steranko art. And some of these things are just flyers or like brochures or like things that blow your mind, man. Like I can't believe you found all this stuff.
Yeah, things you don't see every day. I try to post things you don't see every day, because if you have, let's say, the 50th Nick Fury agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. #5, of course, that cover never gets old for me. Every time I see that with one of the guys, I give at least a comment, of course a like, but also a comment, and I love seeing them, but there's no need that I post that stuff also. So I get things out which are very uncommon and hard to find. So today I will post a very nice one. It is related to my last post. about that Winnipeg art program for the Strango exhibition, and yeah, it's pretty much the same image, but not quite the same. Very cool, very unusual. Haven't seen that piece for a very long time. For a very, very long time. I think I only saw one other guy who offered it and somebody bought it. But other than that, it doesn't show up.
Right on. Alrighty. You got anything else to show, or we safe? Okay, come back. Come back now. What's going on?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, cool, man. I appreciate you showing off all your goodies on my channel here.
Yes, of course.
For my massive audience. But so anyways, you were speaking about, you said a French collector. I was going to bring up, there's a guy that I was looking, a French dude that has a Mazzucchelli Daredevil page, which I'm very interested in. And it's listed on eBay, but it's been there forever because the price is pretty steep. And so I messaged the guy, and he does the thing that makes you nervous, man. He sends me his email. Okay, contact me. Granted, this guy has his feedback is over 1,500 and everything, so I'm sure it's legitimate. But when you're talking about dishing thousands of dollars over to somebody with overseas with no protection,
yeah,
that's scary. I don't know if I'm going to commit to that or not.
Yeah, but yeah, I can totally understand it because back in the days in 2005, 2006, there were some listings which had no paper. You had to use money order.
Oh yeah.
For those younger guys who don't know what money order is, you go to Western Union, pay the cash in in real money, and the other guy gets a code from you, and some post office guy comes and gives him the money you have sent him, and that's it. So if he never sends anything, the money is gone.
Yeah.
No cell protection, no nothing, and those transactions were expensive, so you had to pay quite a pretty penny to send the money. And I have done that a few times, not too often, but I had to do it a few times.
I bought one piece of art, one of my Gene Cola and Daredevil pages. I bought it from a guy in Italy, but I was put at ease because he's a dealer. I found the piece through Comic Art Trafficker, and he has his own website, so I mean that doesn't guarantee that that you're dealing with somebody that is legitimate, but I mean it's that much more reassurance, in my mind, anyways.
Yeah.
So I took a chance on that one, and yeah, it worked out all right for me.
Yeah, usually it does.
As a matter of fact, that guy was, I mean, he messaged me, like he's like, okay, it's at the post office, and then I got it. He would see on the tracking number that I picked it up and everything, and he's asking me, you happy, everything good, like.
Yeah.
So he was. Very, he wanted to make sure that I was happy with my purchase, which is great, great customer service. Love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm thinking about it, man. There's a few pieces out there that are going to be coming to auction very soon, or that piece included. And the thing is, I got to pick and choose. I can't afford all of them.
Yeah.
So as long as that Daredevil piece has been there, I don't know. I might leave it on the back burner. I might regret it because one slip through. I seen one go that I've been watching for the longest time, not too long ago, but it's all part of the game, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That's also the story of my life. The ones who got away.
Yeah, you can't have them all, man. Well, I mean, I can't afford that, so
Oh,
it is what it is, man.
nobody can. It's just natural. It's a lot of luck involved. You being there at the right time, having the right amount of money available. Let's say for this year, I had to act super quick. It wasn't listed on eBay. Maybe 24 hours, definitely not more than 48. And I had to pull the trigger. I had to make a quick decision. It was a few thousand for this one. It was quite some money because before that, I made a big move on a very important piece for me, and I was still paying that off, and I still had some money saved up to make the move possible. And well, if it comes up, you just have the half of the money. You're not being able to buy it. So that is the definition of luck. You being able to take advantage of an opportunity presented.
Yeah, have an ability to seize the opportunity.
Exactly, that is. English is not my native language, so I have to
man, you're doing
navigate.
Hey, dude, you're doing just as well as I am. Sometimes I just start yammering and I wonder to myself what the hell I'm saying. So you're doing great, man. I wouldn't worry too much about all that.
Thanks.
Let's look at some more Comic Link because there's some other things that I was interested in coming up, things that I'm considering.
But just in general, a question: do you have any pieces you regret getting?
No, not at all. But I'll tell you, the one thing that it's not that I regret getting the piece, it's that I regret the timing. Is I don't have it yet. It's that claim that I made on the Dueling Dealers for that Assad Ribic Daredevil and Bullseye illustration. And I mean, it looks beautiful. That thing looks amazing to me. It's going on my wall for sure. But I was definitely acting on emotion when I bought that. And the thing is that there are other things, like if I would have left that alone, it probably still would have been available whenever I was ready for it. And there's other things that are going to auction and stuff that, I'm going to get this one chance at them. And so I, may or may not be able to afford those things. This one you've seen. There's some pretty cool stuff on here, man. This one you've seen, but this one is definitely something that is. I'm going for that. It hasn't been that long since I've read this, but if I remember correctly, it's a dream sequence, and in this dream, Daredevil just freaking murders all of them. He kills the head ninja of the Hand, Kingpin, Bullseye. Oh wait, we're not sharing. We are not sharing. What are we doing? Excuse me, I'm still a noob.
No problem.
There we go. Yeah, I've shown you. You've seen this one already, but
yeah.
Might as well show it on my YouTube channel. This is definitely priority. I want that. It's man, I've been looking for a Lee Weeks Daredevil page for a while, and ever since I've been collecting, this is only the second one. This is the first one actually featuring Daredevil that I've seen go to auction, and we got Kingpin, Bullseye, Daredevil with an RPG. Get the hell out of here, man! How cool is that? That is freaking so cool. And
Yeah.
Weeks is he's one of my favorite artists, man. I love this dude. And then there's something right here, which I'm sure is going to be way out of my reach. But let's look at it anyways. This is from Daredevil 163, Frank Miller and Klaus Janson.
Mm.
And I mean, I might would have been able to acquire it if it hadn't been for the Hulk, man. If it
Yeah.
just had Matt Murdock, it might be doable. But the Hulk on there, oh, it's gonna go for a pretty penny.
Yeah.
That half splash with the Hulk, especially, yeah.
Yeah. And Frank Miller not drawing Hulk that often.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Title page and everything, man. The half splash, like I love these pages too that show the illustrate the radar sense.
Yeah.
What else? There's a little Gene Colan illustration that's ending. I don't know. I don't really care for that though. It's just,
Yeah, it's nice.
I mean, I don't know.
I have only one Gene Colan page in my collection.
Yeah.
And it is from 1998.
Right on.
Pretty late. It is from Blade Crescent City Blues or something. It's a one shot, but the page is where Blade is being attacked from behind by a vampire, and he managed to stab the vampire with one of his sticks. So yeah, that's a page.
Here's the other things that I have some interest in. See, I was interested in this before that other Lee Weeks page came up, but now that we got that other page, I forget about it.
Yeah,
That's
but it is still nice.
that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I like the middle panel with the Kingpin.
Yeah, smoking the cigar, watching
Yeah.
this good monitor, and this story. I remember there's this. I can't remember the character's name. It's Colonel something, and like he's funding the Kingpin, and he thinks like he's gonna boss the Kingpin around, and that does not turn out too well for that man. Let me tell you what. Okay, this is one. Man, I remember seeing this somewhere a while back. I think it was on eBay. I would like to have a Scott McDaniel page. Preferably, I would like the armored costume, that black costume that was a thing in the early '90s.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know. It's got some cool action sequences. His face right there looks really weird, man. But besides that, a pretty cool example of Daniel's art.
Yeah, I had the Scott McDaniel books back in a few years ago. I read this stuff, and then I sold the stuff.
Yeah.
For me, it was for me personally, it felt overhyped.
It was,
Because
man. I'll tell you for sure. His art was better than Chichester's storytelling for sure.
oh,
But I mean, even he's not. You know, this is way down the list of artists that are my favorite. It's more. It's more the thing of just wanting to own a page of his because of his work on my favorite character.
yeah.
Okay, that's pretty much it. There's a I believe Daredevil illustration, but yeah, I have I have that covered.
Nice.
Cool though, man. That is pretty cool. You
Yeah.
can get. He still takes commissions, and you can get a commission from him. I think it's around like I want to say it's something like 1,200 or 1,500 US dollars for a commission like that.
Mhm.
But I've seen several examples of those commissions that he does, and I don't know. It's the consistency. Sometimes, like that's a great one, man. That's a really good one. But some of them, like that I've seen, they must have been done at a convention or something. They must have been very rushed because they're just not up to par with something like that. But I have Malev covered, so I ain't worried about that so much.
So yeah, speaking of commissions, I rarely do commissions. I have to say, because in the very most cases, I don't want to say I'm disappointed, because that would make me ungrateful. So somebody is putting in his time and doing something I requested, but yeah, so it's my own fault if it's not meeting my expectations. So, but I have had a Assad Ribbage commission. It was a head sketch of a storm, Mohawk storm.
Oh, right on.
It was nice, but for me, it felt like Storm was looking more like a dude from her facial features. So it was too dark for me. So yeah, I ended up selling it, and it's okay, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I did.
That's the one thing about. I mean, this is going to be the first. It's like commission illustration type deal. That one that I'm purchasing of his, and I mean, not that I have the experience of ever having to turn one over, but I can only imagine that it would be a lot more difficult to sell that than it would be to sell, say, a published painted cover. You know.
Yeah, I still got my money back, but I didn't made any profits either. So I just passed it on one for the regular rate he has. So it was okay. It was a try, because very often you have to get lucky with commissions. So
Yeah.
sometimes you get something and it is exceeding your expectations. I have a great Batgirl commission from a guy on Instagram here. It took forever and 3 days to get to being shipped to me, to being finished. I think it wasn't half a year, and when I did the deal, it was, hey, we will have something in 2 weeks. From 2 weeks to 6 months. And you have to get in touch with the guy. Hey, what's going on? Pop, pop, pop. Yeah,
There's a
tricky.
artist who I want to get a commission from that I'm a big fan of, and his work in the comics is all digital, and he does commissions, and they're not cheap. But the examples of his commissions I've seen are amazing, man. But well, the thing is, I'm a big fan of his, and I fear that that is going to get ruined by something like that, by giving the guy my money and then waiting a year or whatever. You know what I mean? And the anxiety would kill me, man. It would.
Yeah.
I would not be very happy about paying somebody my hard-earned money for them just to sit on it till whenever they get around to it.
Yeah. Especially if you pay full in front.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Which is
So,
going to be the deal with most all commissions, especially the ones where you're going through a what do you call it? Through a dealer, through a representative.
Yeah.
And that's the deal with this guy. The artist I'm talking about is Marco Cicchetto.
Okay. Yeah, I hope it works out because
I haven't decided yet, buddy. I'll
okay.
have to stew on that one for a while.
Yeah.
There's,
because it is a few years ago when Jim Steranko opened his commission list, and you could get on his list. And I decided, hey, it would be great to get a commission by your favorite artist because I'm a Steranko completist, and why not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a few thousand for a commission, and I paid the full amount in full in advance. And 3 years later, he still couldn't tell me where my rank on the list is. So where's my spot? Am I number 15? Am I number 7? Or
is somebody else paying more cutting in the line in front of me? What's going on here?
Yeah, because he was getting out a few commissions, and as it turned out, he opened his commission list. Guys got on the list. He got the money from the guys, drew something, and he drew only stuff he could sell to the publisher. So if somebody because he said, "Oh, you can just request things I am known for." Let's say Nick Fury, Captain America, maybe Batman or so.
Yeah.
Okay, the guys who requested a Captain America got it first, because then he drew Captain America and sold that as a variant cover, black and white variant cover for Marvel. And there are a few of those, and all of those published variant covers were formally commissions.
Oh wow! It's
good if you have a commission and it's being turned into a cover. It's a win pretty much. It's nice, but I think it is a little bit untransparent, not to say maybe dishonest, if you make a request for a commission, and if you would have known there is no chance the commission is being finished because he can't sell it as a cover to another company, because there was never a discussion point whatsoever, ever. You would have made another request for something else. Let's say Captain America.
Did you ever get the commission?
No.
Did you get refunded, or what happened there?
Yeah. Within a week, I had the money back, and then I said, okay, but I still want the commission. Please keep me on the list, and we can get this done again. But no emails anymore from Steranko.
Oh man.
Yeah, it hurts.
Especially from this guy that you idolize. That's.
Yeah.
I worry about that, having that sour taste, and then I don't know. I mean, to me, I take their work on its own merit. Like, I don't know. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't like this actor because what he did or whatever." Like, I mean, what they do in their personal life, I don't give a shit. It doesn't. I'm a fan of their work, not of the
Yeah,
person,
exactly.
not of the person. But still, all I'm saying is, don't mess with my money, bro. Don't mess with my money, bro.
Yeah, it's unprofessional.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't care if I am the biggest Raikou collector here in Europe or whatever, but I just wanted to be treated fairly and in a professional manner. That is what my idea was of the whole thing. But yeah, that he's refusing to write any replies or so, and I'm still writing him once a year a Christmas card, handwritten Christmas card for Mrs. Franco, and I'm still doing that and reminding him. But he perfectly knows who I am because I've bought from him several pieces, prints, books, and so on, which he offered at some time, and that deal took 1 year to complete because it took him almost 1 month to make a reply on an email.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I think okay, maybe he forgot about it, but no. It just takes a very long time until he gets back to you. And so that deal for a few posters, prints, and some comic books took one year from the first contact until I got the thing in the mail. 1 year.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. What I know, a working comic book artist is a crazy busy person. But somebody like Strango, who only does cover art or anything like that these days, they can't be that bowed up. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If anything. Yeah, he has a Twitter account where he is active and he's pleasing the crowd, so to speak. Yeah, but a old man getting on social media, getting distracted, being a person who is being distracted very easily, losing interest in a project very easily because you have so many unpublished stuff which got announced and never came. Oh man, Raikou is number one when it comes to that. I could fill a whole Raikou month of unpublished projects, unfinished projects of Raikou.
Oh well.
I think I will do that next year for the next Raikou September, just for the fun of it.
Might as well, huh?
Yeah.
So you mean actual work that did he do prelims for it or?
Yeah. He announced like let's say Red Tide. He did a graphic novel in the 70s, and he said, "Okay, I want to recolor it, digital recolor it." I did a few pages with Dark Horse. They got published. You could have a preview of what is coming, but never happened.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Or that Orion story, that space saga, Space Odyssey. There was also an idea to get that going. It sounded very interesting. Very nice design, very nice concept, but yeah, nothing came out of that either.
I mean, at this point in the guy's career, he's an old man. He's made his money. He just
Yeah.
any of sort of that stuff at his own leisure.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all.
So yeah, it's
all,
okay.
It's all a pet project to him now. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not out of necessity anymore. He's not a hungry young artist anymore.
Exactly. So it's okay for me. I'm not sour about it, but yeah, it is what it is. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, I wish I had the show. I don't. I tried to find it. I have another page that I ordered with that Ribic illustration that I purchased. That was from Anthony Snyder.
Yep.
He had a page from a Daredevil issue by I never know how to pronounce the dude's name, but it's Ariel Oliverdi or something like that. Do you know?
Ariel Oliveira, I think it is.
Okay, it's a really cool page. I love any page where it has him swinging a Billy Club. That's cool. But the panel that it has like a half splash or third splash, whatever it was, them swinging off at the end and with the Billy Club, and the other panels are him beating up the NYPD.
Wow.
Oh yeah, which I thought. I mean, I don't know. Not that I'm hating on the police or anything like that. I mean, they got a job to do and everything, but it's funny, bro. It's funny.
Yeah. You don't see that every day in a comic book.
Oh, for sure. I mean, not very many people would do that in a comic book because I mean, you're trying to represent, especially a character who's trying to represent, truth, justice, and the American way. It's like, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of the opposite message there. But in that story, he was being framed. He was being set up by I believe it was Bullseye was running around dressed as Daredevil, killing people.
Okay.
Anyways, you know what, man? It's been. Let's see where we at. We're at almost an hour and a half. Might as well just cut it short. You go ahead and let everybody know social media, all that, whatnot, where they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, so people can find me on Instagram under DangerRoom_comics, and I post stuff about vintage comic books, original art, sometimes here and there a few nice pieces from my collection, and no raffles, no spam, no bullshit. Here there are a few claim sales. There are a few pieces or comic books still available for my last claim sale. I list the price, list the grade, list every single detail of the conditions of the sale, and you can see the front and the back cover. Not everybody does that.
Yeah.
They scan every book because we have these guys who are, I don't want to say lazy, but photographing a comic book through the bag and just listing it for $150 US, and can't see shit.
You ask them what the grade is, and they say, "Well, look at the picture."
Yeah.
Come on, man, give me something.
Exactly. So
yeah,
I'm one of those who does the work for you. I will treat everybody the way I want to be treated, and I pack very well. Everybody says that.
Yes, I was about to mention that. I've seen that post that you did on your method of packing, and that is, very reassuring to a buyer, especially you're in Germany. So most buyers you're going to send to are going to be, out of the country. So I mean, that is definitely a big selling point. Okay. And of course, you find me here. You find me on Instagram, of course, which if you're here, you probably already are. If not, if you're discovering me here, then hey, check out the same name, Comics for Blame, on Instagram. I honestly do not keep up with my Instagram like I always intend to. I spend more time on there chatting with people than I do actually posting my comics and whatnot, man. I get lazy about it, whatever. I keep telling myself I'm going to do better. It doesn't happen, but
You're using it for the social aspect of it, to get in touch with other collectors and so on, which is totally fine. So
that's all it is to me. That's all this channel is for, man. It's just to connect with other collectors and I've said it several times. I'll say it again. I don't have that in my real life. I don't have any friends that collect comics here, and I wanna share this stuff. I want to.
Yeah.
I want to, you can show. I could be like, hey, look, this piece of art that I bought to to one of my buddies. Bro, they're
Yeah.
not gonna care. They're not gonna care. It's nothing to them. Like, oh, that's neat. You got a picture on your wall.
Yeah.
They're not gonna appreciate it like you or I would. So that's exactly what I'm doing here.
Especially the old comic books. Hey, that people threw that stuff away. Reddit threw it away, so that at some point in time. So, but hey, there's where the term comes: one man's trash is another man's treasure, and you have to find somebody who is like-minded, and yeah, you can. Yeah, it's the only thing you share, and it doubles. That is the joy of these things. You share it, and you gain something out of it. And
Sure.
yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
It keeps me very interested in the hobby. All right, man. We'll continue this backstage. I'm gonna kill the bee. David, listen to me blab enough.
Awesome.